Hello, today I'm joined by Rob, designer of Prop Hunt the board game, a game of hide and seek entangled in bold-faced deception and silliness. Rob, thanks so much for taking some time to chat with me.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it.
So tell me a bit about the game. What is Prop Hunt, and why is and what's the difference between Prop Hunt and Prop Hunt the board game? Forgive my ignorance here.
No,
What
it's
is
all
it?
good.
And who is it for?
Yeah, so Prop Hunt the board game, anybody who plays like video games, it's really big. Like I think probably the biggest right now in either Fortnite or it's the biggest in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. They just have it in there too. And it's been in Call of Duty for a long time, but it's in those, it's in Minecraft, it's in Roblox, it's in Genshin Impact at this point, which is kind of a crazy thing. We were at a convention just a couple days ago, or a couple weeks ago, and my brother was like, "Rob, look at this," and because he's a big Genshin Impact guy, and he's like, "There's on Genshin Impact." And I'm like, "That's so sick." So Prop Hunt is basically it's exactly that. It's hide and seek, where one team is like inanimate objects, and they're like the hiders basically, and they're called props. They're just like the items from around the map. But you can be those items, and you can run around, and you can hide, and you can duplicate, and you can try to trick the hunters, which are basically the seekers, and they're trying to find you. In a lot of games, there's guns, and in some games, there's not. And ours, it's as family friendly as possible. I'm from Oklahoma, so I love guns, but there's no guns in this game. But the premise of Prop Hunt is just that the hunters are running around trying to figure out which inanimate objects you are around the map. And the props, in the meantime, are running around trying to collect these keys that are called action keys. And once you collect all 12 of these keys, you can escape the house, because our map is a house. And you escape the house out of the front door or the back door, and you're free after you collect all 12 keys. Every time you collect a key, though, you get a card. It's an action card, and it gives you a special ability. So it might be like swap your piece or duplicate or change, or we have like 10 different cards. It's a blast. But
Awesome.
yeah, so a lot of people would know it from those games. And over the last year and some months, me and my wife and one of my best friends, we've really worked on this to make it into a board game because we're just massive fans of the game mode in general. But it's been around for years and years. Actually started way back in a game called Gary's Mod. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gary's Mod.
No, I haven't played it, but there's a lot of lore here. Like
There's a
surprising,
lot. There's a
surprising.
lot.
And so how do you go about taking something like prop hunt and the I guess fundamental concept of hide and seek, fine, but there's probably a lot, like one of the interesting bits about this I would imagine is the unique items and the aspects of hiding them around. How do you go about taking that into and turning it into a board game?
Right. So kind of like what I said, the map is basically it's a top-down view of a house, a floor plan.
Right.
And all over at the very beginning of the game, you put, depending on the number of players, it could be from 25 to 40 pieces, random of these pieces. I'll pull them out so you can see them real quick.
Yeah.
You
Please,
put
please,
these
please. Yeah.
all over the board. And here's just
25 to
as a
40, you
visualization.
said.
Was that?
25 to 40.
Yes. And so here's
That's a
our
lot
board.
of pieces. Okay, cool. Nice.
Yep. And so, your Sims players on this is our prototype. Okay, it's not our
Yeah.
official. Our
Yeah.
artwork is still being finished, but our prototype board was made on the Sims 4 video game.
Oh,
And I
cool.
just took a top-down screenshot of it and put it in Photoshop. And I'm a photographer for a living, so I was able to edit that into what I needed to be.
Nice.
But all over that board, you put 80, or you put between 25 and 40 of these pieces, and they are just all sorts of things. I'll pull some out.
Unique pieces.
Yes, yeah, little bitty miniatures. Like you could be this little apple. It's kind of hard to see a little bit. You could be like a gas can, which what this is. This is my wife's favorite. A little rubber ducky.
That's
You could be a
on your cover.
guitar. You can be all these different things all over the board. So you start the game by putting all these pieces all over the board, and then you roll a d6 to figure out who's going to be a hunter and who's going to be a prop. And the props are the people who get the highest rolls, and hunters get the lowest rolls. So it's kind of like a randomization, because kind of how it is in the video game modes of Prop Hunt is just random. Whoever gets to be a hunter gets to be a hunter and prop. And then from there, the hunters will hide their eyes while the props go back into this bag, and whatever's left over inside this bag, they'll choose one and they'll place it somewhere on the board. And so now the hunters can put their pieces in our base version of the game, there will be 4 of these little guys. These are the hunters, little flashlight dudes. Yep. And they'll put their pieces on the board, and then the game will start with the hunters going around trying to find the props. Once again, in the meantime, the props are running around trying to grab Keys. There are little
Right.
keys that unlock the doors so they can leave.
So I know you mentioned before this is, family friendly and all that good stuff. Who do you imagine, or through your playtests or through the game so far, who enjoys this the most? Who's it for?
So I gotta be honest, I've been super surprised, and I know my super fan's name is Joel, and he's actually a guy I know. He works at my bank. Because I went to open up our business bank account, and he was like, "You're doing what?" And I explained it to him, and he just freaked out immediately. And he's like our age. He's like young. He's so millennials and Gen Z who've played prop hunt in one of these game modes, or at least have seen videos, because there's tons of videos all over TikTok and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just a blast to watch. These people are the ones who come into the game like scratching their head, like, how does this work? And then they play it. And then they say things like what all of our reviews have said when we took it to conventions, which is like, I just love the teammate aspect. I love the strategy. I love the deception. People have told us that it is just a great translation from the video game to the board game. And I'll just be completely genuine with you here. I have teared up so many times throughout making this, because we've worked so hard over the last year to try to make sure these mechanics really worked, and it's been really cool.
And so I guess watching people play it, is that what you love the most about it? Like,
Oh
what
yeah,
are the
oh
aspects
absolutely.
you're not
So
seeing?
the way we were doing it at conventions was my wife would help the props and I would help the hunters, and then we'd switch, and so we would have them play, but if they had questions or anything, we'd just like show them the rule book, and then help them out and strategize and stuff. And I love that so much. Seeing people you don't expect to play this as well. So we had people at the convention. I couldn't believe how many grandparents came to the tabletop board game convention here in Oklahoma City. But there were like some grandparents who were sitting down playing with their grandkids, and moms and dads sitting down playing with their kids, and they had just as much fun as the kids had. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is awesome, because I knew the young people, but the older people, it blew me away. That's what I love. I love watching families just having a blast with this.
And if I read right, it's 4 to 9 players.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
this is you can fit the whole family around it as well.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And so we tried our hardest to get it down to like a 2 player game. It just does not work with 2 players. But no, 4 to 9 players is definitely, I like the 5 player version. In the
Yeah.
5 player version, there is 2 hunters and 3 props. I like that the most. But when you start getting up towards 9 people, it just gets chaotic. It gets so much fun, and that's what we like about the game as well. Is just as much chaos, and you're like, did that piece wasn't there, and you're looking at all your teammates, like, that piece wasn't there, was it? That moved, that definitely moved, and I was like, I don't know, because at first people think that they're going to be able to memorize where everything is on the board, and it just doesn't work that way. Your brain just starts getting overloaded, and it's so much fun.
Well, it sounds like so much fun. I'm super excited to see it come to Kickstarter a little bit later in the year.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for taking some time to chat. Anyone who's interested in following along with your journey or get told when the Kickstarter is live, you can find a link in the description below. Rob, thanks again.
absolutely.